All right. Good morning, everybody. So it's probably been about 3 months since I've done anything. So since the last time you saw me, I probably have more hair. My beard is shorter, but it'll be back long again. So before we begin, coffee. Always coffee. So while I was on hiatus because the children were out of school, which is scary, I was at home with three of them. I'm surprised they didn't kill me. They tried. Anyway, so while we were on hiatus, I was getting messages from people. Hey, give us an update. Let us know how things are going. We want to see more. So in that time, I've been able to dial in what I feel is my signature sound, and I've been able to do this by stacking pedals and things like that. And you can do this on the Marshall code. So I am going to show you guys a few things, and hopefully you'll be able to hear it. I know I'm using an iPhone with a microphone. Or probably, the more of these I make, I should probably start miking up my amp and running it through something for you guys. Look, man, I got three kids at home, so yeah, I don't see a mic coming anytime soon. But that being said, you still should be able to hear the difference. So I'm still using my same setting, that same metal chunk setting. I have it dialed in pretty good. I'll put the listings for where the dials are down below. Really, at this point, sorry, sinus season in Texas. Very sorry, guys. So, really, at this point, the only thing that I am ever having to change on this is whether I stomp on one box or stomp it off or play with the bass. That's it. It's pretty universal. I can go from everything from Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction to Velvet Revolver to Gojira to Mastodon. It just really kind of depends on how I'm dialing things back on the guitar or how I'm dialing them back on the volume pedal. So yeah, so here's where it's going to get confusing, and hopefully this runs through here. So here's how I'm running things, right? So obviously got my Marshall code. Not even using the foot pedal for it anymore. I don't know why I have the crazy thing, but it's there. So I have my Ernie Ball volume pedal, okay? And I will tell you guys, this has been the most versatile piece of equipment that I have. It saves me a lot of having to futz with knobs and things like that. If you don't have one, you don't have to get an Ernie Ball. You can get one, and they're just plain awesome. Especially if you play a lot of things like Tool, things like that, you will find that you will need one. So I ditched the Blues Driver, and at one point I even tried a Soul Food, and it did not work. It did, just not to the level that I wanted it to. So I found this bad boy, Amp Tweaker tightmetal Junior. And I'll tell you what, man, this thing's a godsend. So the way that I have the amp set already, when you look at the settings, you're going to get a chunk, but you're not going to get a chug. Now, you throw this in line on that distortion, and I promise you it's going to chug. What I like the most about this is that I can really kind of tailor the signal to my liking. So if I'm playing something like Slipknot or something, I can throw this over to tight, and it's going to tighten up the signal even more. Typically, I leave it in the middle. It's even got its own noise gate that I use in conjunction with the noise gate on the Marshall Code 50. So that kind of helps break out a lot of the noise. And then what I added to it, and this thing's pretty badass, man. I don't really have any other way to put it. I added a Carolina Reaper to this. Now, very rare do I actually use the overdrive portion of this. I say that because it makes the signal too thick and too muddy when you throw the overdrive on this thing, okay? So I've used it. This by itself is good, but the signal's really loose, and if you want to get that tight chunk, 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 you're just not going to get it. So that's why I resorted to running this guy first, and then when I want to thicken up the sound and I want to play something like Norma Jean or something that's just this big, thick wall of sound, I'm going to kick on the fuzz on this thing. I will say that this by itself has the possibility for some really crazy sounds. I'm in the process of writing some music of my own right now, and there are several songs where I just use that pedal on its own. I have found that when playing things like Mastodon and things like that, when you want to hit the leads and you want to get to Brent Hines kind of sound, if you can kick on the overdrive, now it's going to feed back a lot. It doesn't matter how close or how far you are from that amp, it's going to feed back a lot. But you will get those searing leads that Brent Hines gets. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is I'm going to toss on my guitar. We're going to make some noise, and then hopefully you guys can see what I'm talking about, okay? And I really hope that it's something, this is what you guys have been looking for. Maybe it'll help some of you guys out. And like I said, once I post this video up, I'll post the amp settings in there, where everything's sitting at. And if you want to try it out, try it out. If if it works for you, great. If you come up with some tweaks for it and you'd like to, give me some tweaks, hey, bring it. I welcome new sounds, but I'm pretty solidly set on this this particular tone and sound. So a little bit of coffee. Oh, that's good. That's good. Gotta have coffee, right? All day. All right. Let's grab the guitar and we'll walk you through what we're doing. All right. So this bad boy, I'm gonna say, is down in drop D. For whatever reason, I decided I wanted to play some Soundgarden or something, so it worked out pretty well for me. Alright, so this is without the amp tweaker on. This is with the settings like it is. And it's using the Governor distortion pedal effects for overdrive. I have it set at like 6.5, 6.5, and 5.0. So this is kind of what I came out with. And this is on the bridge, by the way. The pickup setting is on the bridge. Not too bad, right? Chugs a little bit. Can it chug more? So now I'm going to kick on the amp tweaker, okay? Volumes all the way up, tone set where I want it. All right, amp tweaker. Still a little thick, so now I got to dial the bass back some. This is what I'm talking about. Like, this is where I've gotten to know this so well that I know what I need to play with. If you want to gent, you can gent with it. Right? All right. So now on to the thicker Norma Jean sound. Now with this, I can tell you with the Carolina Reaper has a octaver on it. So it drops a step below, but it's only like at a quarter volume. So it's really subtle, but it's there. So when using this pedal like this, you're probably gonna have to dial your bass back a little bit more. So for this, I'm gonna dial the bass back to 3, okay? 3 should be perfect. So here we are before. Right? All right. Now, let's kick on the Carolina Reaper. That was just the fuzz enabled. So now I'm gonna kick it on with the overdrive on it, and you're gonna hear what I'm talking about. And you're just gonna, for me, it's face melting. When I get this thing up to volume, like where I'm not recording, bro, it'll pretty much melt your face. I can't play leads that well. I play some Mastodon stuff and things like that, but I'll see if I can give you an idea. So. Already. Talking back here. Now, I fully recognize that the reason that it's screaming at me is because I have two high gain pedals in line with each other, right? I get that. But you get that just searing, face melting lead. What was the lead I was playing? Oh, for Mastodon, the Mother Load, when I was playing along with it. Man, I was like, I saw Mastodon a couple of weeks ago, when they came here to Dallas. Amazing show, by the way. Amazing show. Got to meet the guys. Got to get some input on the guitar I'm building, which we will go over that in another video because I'm kind of back for a while now that the kids are in school. But yeah, so I got some advice from Bill Kelleher on the guitar I'm building. Sounds like, he said it sounds like that I'm right on for what I'm wanting to accomplish and what I'm wanting to build. But yeah, I mean, we went and my buddy and I watched, and so I came home and I started playing with this Carolina Reaper, man, and I found it. Like some people, they have a distortion pedal and they run a tube screamer on top of it when they're running leads. However you want to do this. I prefer the amp tweaker because tube screamers typically take your mids and your highs and they scoop the hell out of them, and so you lose your lows. This one doesn't do that. It's not been my experience that it does that in any shape or form, and if it does, it's minor, and it's not anything that I have to add like a thickener or anything like that, any kind of pedal or EQ. Oh man, I just turn the bass up like a couple of spots, and we're good. The Carolina Reaper is a weird monster in and of itself. I love that pedal. It is an expensive pedal, but I love it, and I think it's one of the things that's going to be very integral in my board, especially when I'm starting to, finishing up writing and recording my own things here. Will they ever see the light of day? I don't know. It's kind of outlining my time in the service and some of the things that I had to go through. Some of the things that I'm still going through, mainly it's just therapeutic. Maybe I might give you guys a snippet. Maybe. We'll see. But I'm not that great of a guitar player anyway. I just kind of sit around and futz around. So that is it for this week. If you have any questions or comments, put them down below. Again, I'm going to put the settings for the amp down below so you'll know exactly what I'm rolling, what I'm running here. Be more than happy to take suggestions from you guys and see what you think. All right, I think that's it. So coffee. Yeah, it's too much for me to finish. I can't finish it all at once. See you guys next week.